The fuck? Yo, welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix, and I do more than just look and smell good. Nagar.
Oh my
Yo,
god, you
yo, and just Darcy here.
this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
Good. Apparently, I don't do shit on this show, according to Nagar.
Yeah, so we have a fan who like caught up with us and kind of thought that Darcy and I were the ones doing all the producing and graphics, and that Tactics was just sitting
I
on.
just sit here. Apparently, I just sit here.
You know what though, bro? I got you. You know, I also have the admin controls. I can hit that ban button next time I see that person slide up on through here. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right, so how's everyone doing this week? I know we sorry we were gone last week, but we're back here today. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty fantastic. Doing pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm doing well as well. I'm doing
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
So we might as well jump right into our agenda. We have quite a lot to talk about.
Well, we just skipped you. Are you doing good? Are you all right, man?
I think everyone knows that I'm not, but
All
just
right, man.
the sound of my voice. But I am thankfully it's not COVID, it's not the flu, it's just a good old-fashioned cold.
Got you. Got you.
I love how your mug kind of depicts your vibe right now.
Facts.
Knocked
Facts.
out Goku.
Try not to make me laugh too much. Anyway, so first item on our agenda is unfortunately for the world and also for DC fans everywhere. And this one, gotta say, this one hit me pretty hard personally. We lost a great actor and, in many ways, human being from how he appears on interviews and also, with fans. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, in my mind, the only definitive Batman, passed away at the age of 66 due to cancer. He played Batman in the Batman animated series, in Batman: The New Adventures of Batman, in Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, uh, in the Arkham Asylum games. I feel like I'm missing something big as well. Nonetheless,
he was in CW. He actually got to play as
right,
Bruce Wayne himself.
yeah. So nonetheless, this voice actor I've grown up with him. He played Batman for 30 years. He was incredibly awesome. He was also a very kind person from everyone who's ever met him and all the people who worked with him. And yeah, for me, everyone knows I'm a big Batman fan. It started because of this man and voicing him on the animated series. So yeah, him passing away last week, that that was a hard one. And so yeah, I wanted to ask like you guys, like how about you? Like how did you feel about his passing, and like also about like how long have you been following him? Tactics, let's go with you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, I agree with you, Umar. I feel like he is the definitive Batman. I grew up watching Batman the animated series, and he was he's the voice of Batman that we all grew to know and love. And it always felt weird when another actor tried to voice him, and they all try to do their own spin on it and everything, and kudos to them for trying, but obviously no one holds a candle to Kevin Conroy. Absolutely not. The way he just brings like he brings a certain essence to the Batman character, both as Batman and Bruce Wayne, that is unmatched, and the legacy that he's left behind with this character is going to be remembered throughout the ages. And it's heartbreaking. And I think it was Boss Logic who I don't think I was able to find the photo,
Oh yeah, I
but
think
similar to this photo that we have up there, where it was just Batman, but it was this scene, but Batman was gone, and it just, like, seeing that just kind of crushed me, man, because it was just like, yeah, he gets it, and what was also touching was I came across Kevin Smith talking about a moment when uh, he was describing his relationship with Kevin Conroy over the years, and he talked about his last interaction with Kevin Conroy, but previous to that, he was telling a story on his podcast about how Kevin Conroy was on his podcast, and it was at a point in time when Kevin Smith was going through, I guess, some hard times and receiving a lot of criticism for like a movie or something like that, and he, much like we all do at times where we feel kind of low and like a little bit depressed, he made a request asking Kevin Conroy to he's like, this is kind of geeky and kind of like embarrassing to ask, but could you just like, as Batman, could you just tell me that I'm okay, I'm doing the right thing? And Kevin Conroy was like, of course, and he did it in the Batman voice, and then as Kevin Smith was telling the story, he got teary-eyed and he just started kind of like bawling as he was reflecting back, and it kind of just goes to show what kind of a man Kevin Conroy was. He was very loyal to his fans, and you could tell that he really loved the character, and he'll obviously be missed. It makes me want to go back, and I actually haven't finished the Arkham Knight, or sorry, no, Arkham City. Sorry, there's so many of them now, but Arkham City is the one that I still have to beat. So yeah, I think I'm gonna revisit that on the Christmas holiday and just kind of pay homage and show my love to Kevin for the amazing work that he did. So yeah, that's it for me.
Darcy?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you've said the majority of everything that can be said, but like the gravitas that he brought to the role, I mean, how many voice actors are as well known, and are not also a like stage, TV movie actor, right? And he loved his fans and appreciated also what the fans were able to provide for him in his life, and he was amazing, and like Tech has said, whenever you had you know other renditions of the Batman voice, even if they were great and even if you loved them for whatever property it was for, it would never be the same, and it obviously won't be the same. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that these things happen, and I mean, we all know, fuck cancer, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um, just a couple things before we wrap up on this. Like one of the things that Kevin Conroy did before his passing was for DC's Pride anthology. He wrote a story um, that got turned into a comic about his life called Finding Batman, and it had to do with him basically. Oh yeah, the just on a side note, Mark Hamill, who voices the Joker, as long lasting as Kevin Conroy was Batman, the two of them have worked together for like 30 years, and like you can tell there's a lot of like love there. Like Mark Hamill had a really nice, touching tribute to his friend Kevin. But going back to what I was saying, the comic Finding Batman was I've read it online and I've found it online to buy so I can have a hard copy. It's basically Kevin Conroy talking about what it was like for him growing up in like a very dysfunctional, abusive household, uh, struggling with being gay and like not telling anyone about it, and then like also like not getting gigs because people were, you know, unnerved about it. I think even one of the casting directors, excuse me, one of the casting directors he went with actually called him the F word, and told him like he'll never be cast or like get a job in Hollywood. And then like I think it was like a couple of years later, he voice tested with Mark Hamill and got casted as Batman. So yeah, like I encourage either of you to like if you can, or anyone else who's watching, big fan of Kevin Conroy. If you haven't read Finding Batman, about his life and also his struggles with homosexuality and like his struggles with depression and all that sort of stuff, I highly recommend. Oh,
Sorry,
did
my
I?
fault. My fault.
Oh,
Keep
gotcha.
going.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that was just like a final like kind of tribute to the man, the legend, Kevin Conroy. He will be greatly missed. So, and also like you, Tactics, I'm definitely planning over the holidays to rewatch my favorite episodes from him. All right, moving on to the next topic is a post that we got. So, we've discussed about this in previous podcasts, but like James Gunn and Peter something with an S. I will never remember his name. I feel bad. Darcy, do you remember Saffron or something? Or
Yeah, it's
Saffron?
like saffron.
Saffron.
Yes, yeah. I think it's
Anyway,
saffron, but I could be, I don't know.
okay. So that dude and James Gunn are basically writing, and I think they've like finished writing the whole DC Bible, because like now that they're in charge of DC Studios and are in charge of like the DCU going forward, they kind of have they've been saying that they've been working on a Bible on like how they're going to plan the next 10 years of DC films. And I think it was like yesterday or the day before, they said that they've like completed it in about 2 months. They'll announce it to everybody. So one of the things that was teased is that James Gunn posted a picture of Mr. Terrific. The yeah, exactly. The one on the left is the image that he posted, and I don't know where did you get the right one, Tactics?
That's from Arrow.
Good old CW.
Oh, okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
it was decent.
Okay. Anyway, yeah,
My hesitancy.
yeah.
I
So
like the
like,
actor. That's all I'm
I
saying. I
will
like the
say
actor.
that I was very excited when I saw that post, and I'm like, is DC's first move to make a Mr. Terrific movie? And I'll be like, yeah, okay. And then like immediately I was like, who would I want to play Mr. Terrific? And I like this is an unfair thing that I'm putting on you both to kind of like cast him right now, but I've already casted him in my head. My fan casting for Mr. Terrific, if they're going to do a Mr. Terrific live action movie, is Sterling K. Brown. Because like I can really see him being the very empathetic but also very intelligent individual who just like he's got shit under control. And like Mr. Terrific, if for those of you who don't know, is a DC character who is known as the third smartest man in the world. I think it's the first one is Lex Luthor, and the second one is what's his name? Oh my God, Ray Palmer, the Atom. So yeah, so it's I'm really, 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 really hoping it's true, because I mean James Gunn, that is like a masterstroke if you like that's your first film you come out with for the DCU, and if you do it right, I mean like well done for you. But I wanted to know what you guys thought. Darcy, let's start with you. What do you think of James Gunn's post?
Well, I mean, my only real understanding of Mr. Terrific was the picture on the right, and that's not the greatest version, obviously. I did like the actor, but it's CW, so they
Yeah,
clearly left something on the table to be desired.
yeah,
And however, actually no, that's wrong. I've also seen him in like Justice League Unlimited or whatever animated that he's been in, and I feel like I'm excited to see that character, what I know about that character, the fact that well, one, he's highly intelligent, and I think there's some real like, well, one, I think that could be really fun. When you said Sterling K. Brown, I really like that casting, because I think that's a really compelling actor to make that a really compelling character. I think that there's also some very interesting storytelling that can happen with this character in the perspective of, I feel like he's like that glue to the Justice League kind of character. And it's also a strong move because he I don't think well, no, Marvel just got to their first gay actor or gay character, I should say, and this would be very early on bringing one in, so that's interesting in itself. And Umar's now questioning; he forgot, he didn't realize that that character is. Yeah, he is definitely. And they showed it off in CW. But he's also, but it was also in the comics. So I looked it up when they were bringing him into CW. I was like, who is this character? And
I did not know that.
yeah. I think that'll be an interesting element, and how they want to, if that becomes any part of the story. The thing that I'm kind of very intrigued by this character is that he is very much a D list like superhero, right? In terms of popularity,
I would say
and
on his best day, he's a C.
yeah, exactly. And so if you're starting there, how are you starting? Like, what is the story that you're going to use through that introduction? I kind of feel like it wouldn't be a
Wouldn't be what?
Oh,
oh
no.
but I cut out there. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying I don't think it would be a movie. I think it would be more like introduce him in something like Peacemaker 2 level, and he starts bringing people together, and he's like a glue-like character.
Oh no, it's happening again.
Damn.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to get my point through quickly. I just think it would struggle to be the very first thing you introduce into this world compared to a bigger character, because you have to educate everybody on him. So I feel like he would be somebody you kind of put in place to start gluing things together and building around, but you don't just say, hey, here's the first big film and a character you don't know. But who knows? Maybe they got a really interesting direction and they're gonna bring this guy out like Blade came out of nowhere and just like make people fall in love with stuff they didn't know they would fall in love with. So
it would be a fascinating like Blade that saved Marvel and now Mr. Terrific that saved DC.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. And Sterling K. Brown could sell tickets. So
yeah. T.
I kind of want Sterling K. Brown to play Green Lantern, like Jon Stewart.
I want Yahya Abdul Mateen for that.
But isn't he? I feel like he's already gonna be. Isn't he gonna be Wonder Man?
Oh shit, yeah.
I feel like Sterling K. Brown is too much of a heavy hitter at this point in his career to
take that small of character. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he's able to take a small character and make it his own, like he literally could embody this and help build it from the ground up.
I mean, if you make a character that's really a nobody, but you make them really big, really important, then you could change the game. Because I mean, a lot of Marvel characters were nobodies, as everyone would say, but now I can't unthink of the people in the original Avengers as not being as big as Batman's always been, even though they weren't, right? So I mean, there is an argument there that they could do that, and I mean, they made fucking Peacemaker the show amazing, right? So
that's true.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting visual.
Yeah, I think they could pull it off, man. I mean, highly unlikely that they would cast these two simultaneously, but just the dynamic that they have on This Is Us.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
actually would sell.
Yeah. That would sell tickets on its own.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just a good PR stunt. And you know what? That is genius, because you would bring a lot of more ladies to bums in seats than normal.
Oh,
because,
100%.
Because they would already have this love and affection for these characters, and bringing them in like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he could pull off Hal Jordan.
100% he could.
He's definitely a Hal Jordan. Damn it, Umar, I liked your Mr. Terrific. I'm all in on this now. I am all in. This is a perfect duo of the two.
I think Umar's dead.
Okay.
But no,
You're-
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a pretty good. Oh,
I
damn.
got you.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Okay, then so then who do you want for Mr. Terrific?
At this point, I don't know because I like Darcy. I only know the character from the CW show Arrow, and I actually don't remember seeing him in Justice League Unlimited. I know because I've seen images on Google, so I know he's been in maybe in the background somewhere. I don't know if he's had a pivotal role in any of the episodes per se, but he just never really stood out to me. Whenever I
Really?
watched the show, yeah, I don't remember. I mean, excuse me, it's been years since I've seen Justice League Unlimited, but
He basically took over for Jean when Jean reconnected with humans.
yeah, I don't remember.
Ah,
I don't
okay.
remember. So I mean, I enjoyed him on CW. I liked the portrayal there, but obviously he was kind of like outshined by Arrow, and they had a Red Arrow on at that time too. So
Yeah.
um he was kind of like a sidekick or a sideline character, so he didn't really stand out as much. But I mean, I'm interested to see the character. I just don't know. It's hard for me to pick who I would cast in the role, but I would love to see the character kind of come into his own and like build similar to how like that of Iron Man, or even Captain America came to be back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, I have I got this conversation's got me thinking of a couple things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
So one is casting idea. John Boyega. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
could get on board with that.
That's one. Is Umar still there? I got no visual on him, or is it me messed up now?
I'm just I got some stuff to take care of, but you guys go on. I'm still listening.
All right, sounds good. I just want to make sure because I could be my end. So John Boyega, I could see. I don't know why. I was just kind of going through a list of actors. Two, complete sarcasm here. Jamie Foxx, sarcasm, 100%.
This is crazy.
You had that prep. Okay, but here's a serious question I want to throw to you, because when we were saying before about Matua, I'm gonna script the rest of the name, so I'm just gonna say and we're like, well, Abdul Mateen. So I felt like I was there. I probably could have got it. But when we were talking about him being in Marvel, I wonder now. This is kind of a question. I'm going to basically introduce a brand new topic right now. I just want to quickly discuss with you guys,
Gotcha.
which is now that Josh Gunn and Peter, and I looked it up, it's Safran, like you said before. I was wrong. The now that they're in charge, and Gunn is not like petty and out here like DCF Marvel. He like calls Marvel up immediately. Do we see, other than people with big contracts that are clearly in a lot of films because they're busy, do you think that we're going to start to see more actors both on DC and Marvel if their schedules allow for it? Obviously, the big hitters are not going to show up in one or the other because they're completely contractually just locked in and they're making money. But how do you feel? Do you think we're going to see more people going on both sides? Because if they're available,
Like simultaneously, you mean?
yeah, like, or not necessarily like month to month we're gonna see the same. They come out in two separate films, but
it would have to be someone who is pretty low. Like I'm trying to think. So someone from MCU who could like easily come over to DC would be like.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds has done it.
Ryan Reynolds has called himself out for doing it, though.
Yeah, but that's because he didn't like how the previous movies that he was in turned out. I mean, he was in some pretty shit roles,
Agreed.
both on Marvel and DC, right? And he really was only campaigning for Deadpool. And the only reason why he agreed to do Wolverine X-Men Legends or whatever was because at the time, I think it was Fox that told him that this would be the only opportunity he would get to play Deadpool. And Deadpool is like his favorite character.
Yeah. I would say that the only MCU characters right now who could get away with like crossing over would be like the forgettable villains.
Hmm.
I think what's his name? Aquaman dude.
Jason Momoa?
Yeah, I think he'd be able to cross over if he really wanted to, but there's been news now that he wants to play he's playing Lobo, so
Yeah, he's campaigning for that one,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
but
mean,
that's
like,
still DC.
but
No,
yeah,
I know, but like I could see him crossing over if he wanted to.
Yeah,
but I mean, you said forgettable villains, but like for instance, I mean, this person's not obviously going forward with Marvel, but like for instance, unless they call up for another similar thing as to a recent movie, like Michael B. Jordan would be able to
yeah.
go over to DC. But I feel like there's even got to be smaller actors. Like let's take from like I'm trying to think from like Wakanda. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Uh
Okoye?
well, yeah, like let's take like one of the women from
I
you're just throwing names out. I didn't hear that one. But Lupita Nyong'o, I was thinking,
right.
or as you said, Lukoye.
Okoye,
Okay,
the actress is let me look her up.
yeah, she was from
Danae Gurira.
yeah, she from Walking Dead.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like for instance, both of them, they don't show up so much unless there's more stuff coming we don't know about, where they're gonna show up a lot, but they don't show up so much that I feel like those are actors that could be on both sides, right? If they only show up in like a film once every so often, they're still big, important characters. We love when we see them. But I feel like those actors could show up in DC and do other roles. And I'm not saying that they're gonna be like, the front of the Justice League. But I'm just saying I feel like we might see more people show up, do small things here and there because they're not going to be petty like it was in the past.
I think it'd be easier for those characters because of the fact that, like you said, they don't play as big of a role. So as long as they're not contractually obligated to play a bigger role in the future with the Marvel properties, then for sure they could definitely go and do a DC movie if they wanted to.
I agree with that tactics.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to see more of it because I think it'd be fun to like a couple months from each other see the same actor do completely different roles, like serious in one movie, completely funny in another movie, and maybe help boost people's interest in seeing these movies just because it's fun and stop being so afraid of it being like, oh well, these actors have to stay in our universe and our universe only because people won't be able to understand, like we don't watch these actors in multiple different movies ever. Like,
The thing is, though, are they still doing long contracts, or did they get rid of it? Like, do actors have to sign on for like 10-year deals? Because if that's the case, then that could compromise things because then you're pretty much committed to, like, let's say for example you sign on to do a Marvel movie and you're contracted for like 5 or 10 years or whatever. Then you go on and you do a DC movie and you're also contracted for like 5 years or whatever. That means that it limits the amount of other roles outside of the superhero genre that you can really do. And like that's 10 years is a long time to be only doing superhero movies, right? Like I know a lot of actors kind of want to diversify and do other projects, right? Like
Chris
what's her
Evans,
name? Yeah, Chris Evans, for example. But what's her name that played Scarlet Witch? Ashley,
Scarlett,
no,
um,
what
um, sorry, Elizabeth
Elizabeth.
Olsen.
Yeah, she was very vocal about how she, as much as she loves Marvel, she actually was kind of up in the air about the whole contract because she actually wanted to do other projects as well that were outside of the superhero genre. And when you're committed to a 10-year stint for so long, then it's like, okay, well, I have these commitments. I got to be in Japan for like months at a time shooting this scene or whatever, so I can't really sign on for any other movies. So that's where I feel like it would get a little bit complicated.
Marvel's known for being really tight asses about their projects as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember Idris Elba and Natalie Portman were just kind of like fuck Marvel, but like Taika Waititi was able to get them to come back because he just like was such a fun loving guy and he had a completely different um atmosphere on set that they were like, you know what, fine, like I'm having a good time. Now we know how that turned out, but still.
Yeah.
Too good
But
of a time.
but also don't forget the reshoots too, right? Because like look what happened with the first Justice League and Henry Cavill with the whole mustache thing, right? Because
Oh my
like
god.
they had finished shooting and then he went on to go play the agent in Mission Impossible, and then they had to go and do reshoots for Justice League, and they fucked up his whole lip. His whole upper
Uncanny
lip was
Valley.
fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, I just think there's opportunities, all I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Just some people, that's all.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, moving on to our final bit of geeky news. Now, this, I will admit, is on the agenda, mostly focused at tactics.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
we've been hearing a growing sense of foreboding from our bro, because he has been a big fan of the Netflix Daredevil series, big fan of Matt Murdock.
Haven't we all?
Agreed, but was beginning to get worried with Phase 4,
100%.
and when She-Hulk showcased Matt Murdock,
Trash show.
I wouldn't go that far, but like it definitely ended weirdly. You said you liked his episode.
Yeah, his episode. Trash show though.
Oh my god. Anyway, so nonetheless, there was some concern from Tactix that Daredevil Born Again is the new Disney Plus series with Charlie Cox returning as Matt Murdock. We've heard on this podcast that Tactix has been worried for a great many aspects. Now, one of those is that he doesn't believe that it would be as mature. Well, as of, I think it was sometime this week, a bunch of fans, I think it was like some sort of reporter, went up to someone as part of the industry and was told, or it was leaked anyway, that Daredevil very likely could be getting a TVMA rating, which is equivalent to like an R or like an AA rating for the show. So that's a pretty mature rating for well, especially for DC. Sorry, not DC, Disney. Uh, so now that has become likely, T, how are your thoughts?
Well, I'll believe it when I see it, but what I will say, given this news, is honestly, this is the way it had to be. I can't see this show coming back with the same actors, the same character essentially, and have it watered down and neutered to a Disney teeny bopper type of show. Like it can't. And don't get me wrong, I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I enjoyed Hawkeye, but in terms of the level like of grit that we got from the Daredevil original Netflix series, that the Disney shows are nowhere near comparison. You can't compare them at all. And I feel
I think
like,
Falcon is the closest you can.
yeah, but even still, I mean,
But even still, I agree with you. I think
Daredevil's
that's the closest we can.
Daredevil was hella dark, man.
Yeah.
And not only dark, but like the storyline was exceptionally good. And having it put on Disney concerned me because I've been kind of up and down. My views have been very mixed when it comes to a lot of these Disney shows. And I feel like this show coming back under the helm of Disney was going to get like a similar treatment, and I just wasn't going to be as invested because you left it on a high note, and then to bring it back and kind of revamp things to fit the format of Disney concerned me. Sorry, that was me. My bad. I'm gonna shut all that shit off. But yeah, that concerned me. So I was a little bit worried about how this show was gonna go. But to have it be a mature rating, again, I'll believe it when I see it. But I am more excited and anticipating this show a little bit more. It's sad that it is a retelling in a way, and we're not going to get a continuation of where we left off. But considering the fact that they have most of the original characters coming back, it doesn't mean that we can't still introduce Bullseye and in some capacity in the future, kind of thing. So I'm hopeful for that. But yeah, I really do hope that they end up with a mature rating, because it just needs to be. I feel like anything less is a disservice to the original series.
No arguments for me. How about you, Darcy?
I mean, no arguments for sure. I mean, it needs to be gritty. I mean, I haven't been as worried that they wouldn't go darker, because I mean, ever since they incorporated Star into Disney Plus, they've had mature content. I mean, they have horror films in there. And like, that ain't for kids. And you know, we have Deadpool coming, and we all know that Deadpool is not going to be anything less than an R. So, you know, I I I feel fairly confident this will be good. I mean, that image up there, that's a Disney official image on the top left corner, right? The one with the yellow helmet with the blood on it. Is that an official one, or is that a fan made?
I feel that's a fan one.
Yeah.
I feel like they had one visual of the Daredevil something with blood, didn't they? Did they not?
I think I think so far it's all been fan made stuff.
Damn,
Yeah.
so much fan made. Well, overall, I mean, they have to do that. If they don't bring the blood, it just won't be the same. So yeah. I mean, they better. Otherwise, we gonna have some real salty episodes on this podcast.
Yeah, and I wasn't really impressed with the Kingpin. The Kingpin that we got in
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye.
No,
Yeah.
I was happy with the reveal. I wasn't happy with what we got. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now.
I liked every part of him when he wasn't fighting. I like him when he just being the character and talking and being intimidating. He was great. He just didn't bring the gravitas in those fight scenes, because they're trying to figure out the power scaling, and they didn't figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our main event. We are going to be reviewing spoiler-filled review of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, all three of us have watched it over the last weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch it together like we usually do, and so therefore we weren't able to do an out of theater reaction. However, you know what, Darcy? Let's kick it over to you first. Let's get like your full feelings review of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We don't know about your Wi-Fi, so let's jam right through it, and also let's give it a rating out of 10 while you're at it. So take it away, buddy.
Okay, 9 out of 10. Love the film, effing solid. You know, this is a film that, as time has gone on since I've watched it, I've appreciated it more. The way that I want to put this, and somebody articulated this, and I saw this, and I liked it, which is that this film is, I feel like, one of Marvel's better films. Not necessarily its best superhero film. It's a better film in that there are a lot of elements of just good storytelling and cinematography happening here that I really appreciate. And there are things that happen in this that I really love. Like, let me start with, I love Namor. Like, I just love that character, and I love how he was introduced. I love how it was like, how many times have we seen the antagonist bring in the protagonist of the film and have like this very civil like discourse between them, even though they had very different ideologies and did not agree on them, it was just a very like we got a chance to really be introduced to their world. Really good way of actually telling that story instead of it being like a very heavy exposition or like, just like some random throwback for like, 10 minutes at the beginning of the film that, we're like just being introduced to, but like it's an unnatural way to learn about these people. It was a very natural way where, Shuri looks like she's going to be captured. She decides in a very smart way as like, the princess of Wakanda here to say like let's stop the fight. I will go. Right. I like that action she took. And then she goes and they had such a good discourse and she learns about them and it's beautiful. And once I got in the underwater scene and we got to see like Telecon, am I saying that right, Umar? I immediately had the thought, fuck Atlantis from Aquaman. I was just like, it was like, this is tangible. Like there's ruins that they were moving through. And I'm like, yeah, you think like when you're in the ocean, especially with everything that's happened in the world, that we would see on land civilization and things in the water. And it's just not this pristine, like giant place. Like Atlantis from Aquaman was closer in perspective to where what's it, Jar Jar Binks comes from in Star Wars, like that the world that they lived in.
The Gungans.
Yeah, like it was closer to that. Like it looked heavily inspired by it. And then this felt like, no, this feels very real. Like their place being an underwater civilization felt more real than Wakanda to me. Like it felt very tangible. I mean, until we got to the big thing at the end where like the big throne, like that part was a little intangible, but a lot leading up to it. Just I loved how they were like the use of the underwater caves, and I'm like, yeah, those are real things. And yeah, it's just a very beautiful way to be introduced to it. Now let's go back. I mean, I loved their handling of Chadwick Boseman's like tribute in this whole film. The only thing I wish is that my theater gave me like a second more like lapse between the end of the what are they the pre-show before we got into the film. It was like I didn't even realize, and all of a sudden Shuri or something, no, someone was talking. I think it was Shuri. Yeah, Shuri's like talking, and I'm like, wait, what? We're in the film? Oh shit! Like I was doing something else, and I was like, oh, could you give me a second? Like, could you warn me that we were just gonna walk into this film like this? But I loved it, and for me, gaining the spoilers here. At first, when the movie opened, and we immediately go into she's trying to save her brother. I'm like, okay, that's fucking real. And she misses the opportunity to be by his side. And I'm like, damn, and that's real. And then I was thinking like, okay, that's kind of how we're gonna end that. Like we're just gonna kind of say that it happened, and then we're not really gonna we're gonna have the funeral because we all saw it in the trailer, and then it's kind of they're not really gonna do too much with it. But then I realized by the end of the film, like we kept coming back to the loss of T'Challa. By the end of the film, when we get to the final end and she's doing the ceremonial like burning of the white robe to mark the end and the moving on to a new chapter, I was like, damn, like this film and the way that we experienced looking back at the loss of T'Challa and Chadwick was seeing it from Shuri's perspective of her trying to avoid it. So in the beginning of the film, when I kind of felt like we were avoiding it a little bit, I realized by the end that's because that's what she was feeling and that's what we were supposed to experience. So that's a big piece. And then I got like one more thing that I gotta say before I like just take the rest of this podcast on for myself. And I saw this in an interview with Winston Duke, M'Baku. I'm trying to say it right, M'Baku. I know, I've just like my M got caught in my mouth. I couldn't get the M out. But the thing that he articulated about this film that was so smart and beautiful is, so Ryan Coogler's a smart writer in that he really always is finding a very, how do I put this? He's telling a story through the vehicle of a superhero film. So his story is not the superhero. His story is something else. And the superhero element of all of it is the vehicle that we are experiencing it through. And this film was a story of seeing women grieve in different ways. Seeing Shuri grieve and being angry with the situation and wanting to burn the world down, as she literally said. Seeing the mother having to forge through it and be so powerful and be so hurt, right? To see what the impact did to his love interest, and how she separated herself, and we learn why she separated herself. I feel like I don't want to spoil that, even though we said spoilers.
We'll get to that later.
but how she separated herself, and how that impact would have affected other people. How the leader of oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. The woman from Walking Dead. What was it? What?
Okoye.
Yeah, Koya. But what's she leader of again? I can't get the word.
The Dora Milaje.
Thank you, the Dora Milaje. How she's affected by it, and like we're just seeing everyone's impact from the loss. And it's the first film was about grief and nobility and righting the wrongs of the past, and that was supposed to set us up for that new future of that noble leader. And this film was originally supposed to be about him grieving the loss of time, but moving into a new direction that we wouldn't fully know. But unfortunately, in reality, sometimes your greatest heroes set out to you set out to have big hopes for what that hero is going to do, and that gets taken from us completely in reality here. And the movie articulated that, in that these what everybody was hoping for from T'Challa wasn't going to happen, and now everyone has to forge forward while at the same time grieving that situation. And I just find that extremely powerful, plus all the representation, plus bringing in the Mayan culture that was beautifully done, and even highlighting which is highlighted in real life, the colorism in that community in of itself, while at the same time it's also showcasing superhero stuff. And everything I love about this film is not the superhero stuff. There's badass stuff, like when the Dora Milaje capture the French soldiers, and then they showcase them on the world stage. But the most impressive part about that is, one, the strength in the Queen, the strength in the Dora Milaje, in those women, not so much in the badass fighting. The best part about that is also the highlighting of what colonizing countries actually do in reality, but in a way where, what if the nations that would be colonized were powerful enough to take that action and not have repercussions like probably would happen in our real world. So anyways, I'm loving this film for the film that it is, and enjoying it for the superhero film that it is, if that makes sense. So
Nice. No,
I got a lot of love.
100%. T.
That was a great review, Darce.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of on the same boat as Darcy. To be honest, coming out of the theater, I was quick to give a rating, but as I let the movie sit with me and marinate in my brain a little bit, I started loving it more and more. And I think I'll have to give it an 8 out of 10, to be honest, because much like what Darcy was saying, even though this is a superhero film, it's not. It's the storyline is presented in a way that really pulls you in, and makes you forget that these are superpowered beings, or this is like a fantasy type of film. Like, you believe in this world that they're building. Like this could actually happen in a way, right? You're lost in the story, and I tip my hat off to Ryan Coogler for that in both films, Black Panther and in especially in this one now. I'll kick things off by starting with what I didn't like, and there's very few things that I didn't like about this film, but wasn't a big fan of the Ironheart suit. To be honest, it looked like some refurbished Fisher Price toys. I was not feeling it at all. The Riri Williams like her character is fun, and I'd love to see more of her in like a Disney show. I just wasn't into the suit, and I felt like she was just a plot device to kind of progress the storyline, which is it was just okay. I guess you sometimes need those narratives to kind of fill in the gaps when needed. But yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. It was kind of like we need a reason to introduce Riri for our new show, so let's just put her in this, right? Ross, I felt like didn't need to be there. I felt like that was just wasted screen time. Again, I understand why they made the choice to add him in there, another plot device, but again, it kind of took me out of the story at times. I'm like, this motherfucker again? Come on, man, get to the story. So yeah, I wasn't really feeling that. The final fight, I was a little underwhelmed by the not the fight between like the warriors, but more so the fight between
Namor and Shuri.
yes.
Really?
Yeah, it was I to be honest, my favorite fight is the bridge fight between Okoye and the other guy. That by
Oh
far,
yeah, no,
like
yeah,
that
that fight
like
though, that
that
fight
fight
though,
that fight it was not it's not comparable to the final fight at all.
because
So
one's more like an actual practical fight, the other one's a superhero fight.
yeah, exactly.
Same
So
problem as always.
yeah, so I felt like I kind of wanted more. I felt like it was a little too short, and there wasn't enough. It's not even the action really. I felt like I needed more from that scene, especially considering that Namor just murdered your mother. He showed up to Wakanda with balloons and feather feet, and you got nothing for this man. Like I would have given him hands, and like it just felt like
She tore off his Achilles ankle.
yeah, but I wanted more of that. I wanted the fight to be fleshed out a little bit more. You know what I mean? And I felt like they probably cut some stuff for. I mean, she cut some stuff for sure, but
Yeah,
uh they
she cut off a
probably
wing,
cut
man.
yeah, they cut off I'm sure they cut a scene or two from that fight because I felt like it could have been longer. And there's a certain frame in the trailer that we see that I don't remember seeing in the actual final fight.
When she like
Uh
goes, "Ksh,"
yeah, I don't remember seeing that scene in the movie.
I saw
So
her dig her claws into his back.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw all that stuff. But yeah, that fight scene was a little bit it's forgettable for me, to be honest. But it doesn't take away from the movie. It doesn't take away from the movie. I still
Okay.
like the movie overall as a whole. Just that final fight. Namor's motive seemed a bit contrived. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was just like, okay, cool. That's what we doing. All right, cool. All right. I guess I got to get on board with that. Um,
He
and
kind of
then
yeah, like, it's like I saw them kill my mom. Like I saw them like do all this stuff like 200 years ago. Now I'm like, let's fuck him up. It's like
yeah, I'm like, bro, like, come on, you need a little bit more substance than that to like,
need more current events.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that could have been easily rewritten to like an attack on a specific place based off
yeah,
of a specific action
hmm
that could have been a little bit clearer than let's like go at the whole of the planet. That's just like because I feel like when you go back to Killmonger, like his particular goal was very clear. It made complete sense in that
yeah,
if people are oppressed in a specific country, they have the power to go back to that country and do a specific thing, and people can agree with it 100%. Even if they don't want to do it, they agree with it. This was
yeah,
more like, you're just dragging your anger everywhere. Like you need
yeah,
to you need to hone it in a little bit.
yeah. And my last point for the dislikes was, and this is nothing against the movie itself. It's more situational. The opening scene That didn't hit me the way I wanted it to, because some motherfucker came in with popcorn that I didn't order and kept asking, "Hey, did you order this popcorn? Because we saw it in VIP." And I was like, "No, bro, get the fuck out of here, man!" Like, why would you come at this exact moment when they're doing the opening scene for Chadwick? So that frustrated me, because I like, by the time he left, it was like, yeah, Black Panther's gone, and I was like, well, okay,
Nigga.
I missed that whole thing. It's just like, so I'm like, I didn't even get what they were trying to do at that point. Like, so yeah, that it didn't hit me the way I was hoping, and I know that was like a very impactful scene, considering that it's very close to home to what kind of happened, in a sense, right? Where no one really knew, and then, it's almost like you feel like you're there in that moment, right? So that was unfortunate for me. What I liked was the way that they handled Chad's passing, and the overall tribute throughout the film, similar to what Darcy was saying, where it's like, it's not just that opening scene where they address that he's passed, and then they have the funeral, and then that's it. It's like, throughout the entire movie, you see Letitia Wright's character battling with that loss, and like struggling between what side she wants to take. Like, does she want to take the spiritual side with her mom, but now she's conflicted because of the message that she got from Killmonger, and like taking the vengeful route. So I liked that angle and the way that they handled it. And of course, I know Darcy said he didn't want to spoil this, but I'm gonna fucking spoil it.
Are you going?
The way that because we were talking about this, where we're like, should you recast Chad? Like, is that what he would have wanted? Is that the right way to do this? And we're all kind of battling with, like, is it the right thing to do? Is it not? And we were trying to figure out, like, okay, who would we recast in the role, or would we recast it? How would we progress the Black Panther legacy forward without Chad? And I totally overlooked them doing this, and I felt like it was like chef's kiss the way that they handled that, where it's like, and Umar, when we were talking about this off camera, you brought up a good point that I didn't even realize, where it was like, okay, so the little kid, so basically for those watching or gonna watch later, at the end, spoiler alert, it's revealed that T'Challa and Lupita Nyong'o's character, they had Nakia, they had a child, they had a son, and he's at this point now in the film, he's like 6 years old, and Letitia Wright, Shuri meets the son for the first time, and he basically introduces himself, and he says his Haitian name, and then he says his actual name, which is T'Challa, and he says, "I'm the son of King T'Challa. I'm Prince T'Challa." So basically, what that means, and what Umar was bringing up, is the fact that as he ages, he's essentially the new Black Panther, the new T'Challa. But because now they're introducing, well, first they basically mentioned that Namor is a mutant. Now that they're going to be planning to do the X-Men, it means that now this T'Challa can actually get in a relationship with Storm, which was part of the original comic book series, which is dope. So I liked how they handled that. I like Namor. Namor was a great villain. The motive aside, he was fantastic. He was very menacing. He was very scary. Like, I was like, oh shit,
that
this guy
picture
is...
right there. Like,
yeah,
look at that
like,
picture right there.
That whole interaction was like, damn, bro, like this guy means business. And the fact, like, what's his name? Ape, what's his name? M'Baku, yeah, where he was like, they don't call him king, they call him Ku Klux Klan. Well, that's not it. That's not it.
No.
You just took that the wrong
roll
way.
it back, baby. Roll it back.
Pull it back, baby. Pull it back.
How do you have that ready?
I figured that was gonna come into play at some point, but yeah,
gone.
Yeah, that name. But yeah, just the fact that the people knew about him, and how menacing he was, I found him to be a fantastic villain. When I first saw the images of him, yeah.
I gotta ask, because you guys both teased me about this in a previous podcast, so I'm like, yo, he's fucking glorious. And you guys, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I don't get it. Do you get it now?
100%. But the thing is,
absolutely.
yeah, the thing is, because like when I saw the images of him, I was like, Okay, I don't know about this, man. Like he, like the, I don't, I and the feathers, the feet feathers. I was like, I don't know how that's gonna translate on screen. And
I
yo,
was
they made
more
that
worried
shit
about that
work.
because like honestly, comics, I was like, this can never be done in live action.
Yo, they made that shit work.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so
the guy's literally just going around in a bathing suit and some chains, and he's
y-
freaking dude, like
yeah,
if you can walk around basically in underwear and intimidate people, like you are intimidating.
motherfucker, Michael Phelps up in here, bro. Like,
like Thanos comes in with like a full freaking like set of armor. This dude just walks in his underwear, like what?
Yeah, so Neymar was fantastic. I liked him as a villain. Excited to see him come back in other properties. Um, Last couple of things. The fact that they scaled back on the humor. I was not anticipating, and I was hoping that they wouldn't double down and add a whole bunch of humor just to kind of lighten the mood given the situation. I'm like, yo, like we don't need this to be a comical event. Please learn your lesson from Thor: Love and Thunder and just throw that shit out. I'm sorry, but fuck that. No.
Ryan Coogler does not write comedy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
and I'm glad. I'm glad. Like there was like some like funny
We had some good
moments.
lines.
Yeah, we had some good
Yeah.
lines, but overall, like they kept it very classy, which I appreciated.
you know
I would
what
say
though?
the hardest
Sorry.
I laughed was from Winston Duke when he was like, "You ball-headed demon." I was like,
Yeah.
"Shit."
That was actually improvised, and a lot of his humor I heard was improvised, like he was doing that.
Are
So
you serious?
I mean, he's a theater actor, like he's
Yeah.
got the chops to be like on the fly,
I swear
right?
to God, I keep like learning more things about him that I love. This is
Oh,
awesome.
he's just flat out
Winston Duke.
amazing.
Winston Duke.
He's just, I mean, his whole character in this film was amazing too. That like he was like, someone said something to the effect of like he was like the stability for all the women and what they
Mhm.
were going through in this film and helping move things forward. Like I loved how like in the last film he was challenging everybody, and
Mm.
in this film he was supporting everybody to the point that like he had a private conversation with Shuri and was like, "This is what I discussed with your brother that I would do for you," right?
Mhm.
And you're like, it's just powerful. Like, I mean, he's such an amazing man just in general. But anyways, go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and then the final thing that I'll say, well, aside from I already mentioned, I love the fight on the bridge. That was dope. That was phenomenal. Very great cinematography on that. The acting, especially from Letitia Wright, she was the heart of this film, and she moved me in so many ways. Like I know this movie was a tall order and they delivered on all fronts, but her acting was phenomenal, and the amount of weight that was put on her shoulders to have to carry this film, carry this legacy. I think she did a fantastic job. And yeah, my heart goes out to her because I know this must have been a really hard, challenging thing for her to pull off. And Angela Bassett, that
Oh,
scene
thank you. Someone
with
finally said
her,
it. I was like, guys, look, you're
bro,
killing me here.
Bro, that scene between her and Okoye gave me fucking chills. Like when she called her out on the events of Black Panther when Okoye, and the thing is you get it from both sides. I get it
Yeah.
from Okoye's side where it's like, as Adora Milaje, she is loyal to the throne regardless of who sits on it. That is her job, that is her vocation, that is what she is bred to do. But at the same time, the queen who lost her husband, lost her son, and now under the aid of Okoye has lost her daughter. And the fact that you're like, you want another chance when you couldn't even stand by us, you know, when Killmonger was on the throne, knowing that that wasn't the right thing to do. Like, where does your loyalty lie? Get the hell out of here. Get out of my kingdom. So that scene, I was like, obviously she said it way better than I just articulated,
Yeah.
but man, that scene moved me so much, and I was like, damn, I get it from both sides, and I love this acting going on. It was such a powerful scene, amazing. It's good, like, yo,
Well,
get this woman an Oscar, please.
like you like, and the thing is, like in that scene, like she was so powerful and literally powerful and like
Yeah,
relatable that like even M'Baku's like,
yeah, he knows his place.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, I mean, like that scene was so powerful because it felt like you were in the room with two women, whether they're family or
Yeah,
whatnot, that you are witnessing a moment of shit just got real
Mhm.
yeah,
and someone's right and you feel for both of them, but you can't say nothing and you just gotta watch the strip being torn off that person.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, every scene Angela Bassett brought
Yeah.
in this film, there wasn't a scene she didn't bring something to. But it was like not a
Killed
10
it.
out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, like honestly, I like. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in now with my review. So just to carry on with the Angela Bassett love, like spoiler warning, I cried 4 times in this film. I love this film. I have an emotional rating and I have a cinematic rating. My emotional rating is an 8.7. My cinematic one is 8. And as I said, I cried 4 times, and the one of those times is when she passes away. Uh, in the film, because like I'm watching Shuri react to like her not breathing, and I'm like I literally remember saying, "Please don't do this to me right now." And I'm just like I'm literally holding my breath, waiting for her to like start breathing or something like that, and it doesn't happen, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And like it's because you've seen her from the first movie, but also from the first scene of this one, you see her. She is there. She's a strong woman continuing on, and she died saving a life who was technically a nobody.
Mm.
And she's lost her daughter. She gets her back, but like she's lost her son, and she's lost. Okay, side note. I don't know what happened between the first movie and the second movie, but like I'm not saying I didn't find her unattractive in the first movie, but like Lupita Nyong'o just like something different in this film
Bro,
that I was just like,
when she put on that wetsuit, I was like, "Wait, hold on. What did I miss this entire time,
Yeah,
yo?" Like
I know. Everyone's just like, yeah. I
Bro.
literally, it was so impressive that I literally looked at the screen and then looked at my girl like I was about to ask her, like, oh no, no, I shouldn't ask that. Like I was like, you see them? Oh shit, my bad. Like I almost outright just asked. I'm like, holy shit.
and I'm
Yeah,
like the
man.
way her hair was, and also some of
Oh,
her
bro.
dresses, I'm just like, hello, sorry, um,
Are
but like
these what you're looking for?
I was like, where was this in the first film? Like, did I miss this? Anyway, so yeah, like Angela Bassett, like I remember, like even like when she's standing by the window, and like, and this is just another example of how Taduk Huerta, Taluk when the guy who played Namor, when Namor's standing outside with his little feather wings, I'm like, dude, that's terrifying. And then she stands across from him with like a vibranium glass in between, and you just see these like massive arms. I'm like, yo, are they going to get into a punching match? Because like I know technically speaking, like physically speaking, Namor would win. But like in a real life setting, if like those two actors went for like blows, I'm pretty sure she could like take him. Like this, just so badass. Like didn't even like miss a step. She picked up her spear.
Mhm.
So yeah, like just everything Angela Bassett, fantastic. So going back, yeah, so like 8.7 emotionally, 8 out of 10, like cinematically. I kind of have the same gripes with it as well, most of them as you do. Tactics. It was a little too long and a little too overstuffed. Like there was a lot going on in there that didn't necessarily need to be added, but was clearly just set up for like TV series. And also you could tell like they were really struggling to like fix things up when Boseman passed away. So like you got to give them a grain of salt in terms of the overstuffed narrative. I agree. Like Riri Williams, if you took her out of the film, and also Everett Ross, wouldn't touch the narrative at all. Like they,
Yeah. You
They were
you
just
would miss
walking.
one good colonizer joke though. You'd miss a good colonizer joke. That was a good one. You gotta admit that.
But yeah, like they were just like literally walking narrative pieces. And yeah, like the Namor reason for going to war was like all they had to show was that he kept coming up to the surface every 100 years or something, and got progressively more pissed off. And that like and the only reason he like aside from other stuff, but like the main reason why he liked Wakanda, because like they had him say it's like the air is beautiful here, like the water is so clean. Build that up a little more. Like let's get some actual reasons. It would literally take you 30 seconds of a montage. So that was the only thing I was like, you kind of needed to give him a little bit more reasoning. Now, all the things I loved. Here we go. Hang on for your hats. I cried in the first scene. Like I was holding it together, and then like when Shuri like fell over on T'Challa's casket, I was like, nope, here come the waterworks. And then they followed it up with his memorial Marvel credits. I was like, what the interesting thing was everyone went completely silent in the theater when that happened.
Mhm.
People were eating, they all stopped eating. And like you could hear a pin drop, and then like halfway through the credit scene, all you could hear was sniffles and like people like reaching for like tissues and stuff like that. Like it was like being at a funeral, to be honest. Um, so that was the first time. The second time was going to, I think it was Darcy. You were talking about like how the realness of Talokan. The song being played, like I think it's called like it's a Spanish song. Let me just look it up. Oh, never mind. I'll find it later. It's become my new favorite song, but I can't remember the name of it right now. That song being played while Shuri's being led through Talokan, I have rarely found something so beautiful on screen. It was gorgeous, and I was literally moved to tears with how beautiful that scene was, with the music and also with the visuals and also with the acting and also with like the world and everything. It was such like it was beautiful, and like it was like a happy tears, but like I got moved myself to tears. I'm like I'm in an emotional wreck right now, and we're only halfway through the film. What the hell is going to happen for the rest of the film? And then Angela Bassett passed away. I'm like, well, this is going to be terrible. And then, of course, the fourth time was in the last scene when and Shuri actually remembers all the scenes from the first movie with T'Challa, and I was like, oh, I'm running out of tissues. So this was a deeply emotional film for me, and I was all the way here for it. Uh, the fights I actually really enjoyed. I love their depiction of Namor. Uh, motivations aside, they captured his duality. He is not a villain. He is not a hero. You can call him an anti-hero, but he's just a very complicated, regal person who just believes in himself. I love the fact that they said the word mutant and the word mutants. It's finally in the MCU. I'm so glad they made his wings awesome. Because like honestly, him like flying through the air. I love the fact that they actually like the actors themselves came up with that.
Oh, that's
Because
awesome.
yeah, it's because it's based off of Mayan depictions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for the Wakanda one too, they came up with that too, didn't they? The actors, like when they were making that film, they
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
that they came up with that as well.
Another thing, like so, so two last things before I make this into a general conversation. Um, I I found the Talocans fucking terrifying. Like
Mhm.
Wakanda was losing that fight.
Yeah.
They were just, I'm not gonna fuck with Talocan. Like Atlantis, big deal. Oh, they got spears. They got all these ocean creatures. Never as scary as water balloons.
Mhm.
Uh, my man got here. Like you could see it on his chest. He got fucked up in this scene.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that vibranium did
So
not hold up.
yeah. And the final thing I will say that getting the cameo from Michael B. Jordan was so awesome because it was so properly done. And it really does create the whole like debate that Tactix has brought forward, spirituality versus science. Shuri is inherently science based, and you can see that her anger at the world is for not having that, like, because like based off my experiences and also some experiences of people that I know, people who have become lapsed, I'm not lapsed, like other people who've become lapsed in their religion, there's an almost childlike hope that when they get older, they'll go back, that they'll be able to go back. They'll be able to do rationality and science and then come back to the safety and comfort of spirituality and religion. Sure, you can tell there was an element of that hope that was lost in this film. And that hope was in this scene. And when Michael B. Jordan shows up, which is more logically based, she didn't get her father, she didn't get her brother, she didn't get her mother. She got her like psychotic cousin, and he was reflecting to her everything that she was feeling. And I just loved that little like subtlety of that debate, that discussion being brought forward in such a visceral and like cinematic way. And of course, my man killed it in one more final scene.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, when she was walking around that chair, I was thinking, I'm like, the most like this is logical, but the most kind of like logical person based off of what we saw from the previous films. I thought, it was like, well, it would be T'Challa, but that obviously can't happen. So then I'm like, okay, then we're gonna get the mother, and we're gonna get some like, communication from the mother, and that's gonna set her on the right path. And it was like, oh shit, that's not at all. Like everything I was thinking was so wrong. And
Yeah,
this was so impressive.
Yeah, I had that same anticipation, or not anticipation, but expectation as well. Like when she was making her way to the chair, I was like, logically, I was like, okay, I feel like it's gonna be T'Challa, but I hope it's not because I feel like the way they've handled T'Challa so far, I don't want it to be like some like Paul Walker from like Fast 7 where they CGI his face or whatever like that. I not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but I just felt like
that would be disrespectful at this point.
yeah, I'm like I don't need to see it like that. And so then I was like, okay, then it's probably going to be the mom most likely. And then this caught me off guard. I was like, oh man, because I'm thinking like Michael B. Jordan's not going to be in this. He's busy like filming and directing Creed. Like he's not going to have time to do this. But sure enough, he made time.
I was kind of hoping the dad would show up, to be honest, because like we've never seen them interact, and that would have been something that would have caught me off guard to see like her kind
Mm,
of being confronted with her father and like having that conversation.
I just
yeah.
think because we haven't seen the interaction, it wouldn't have been as impactful.
Yeah, like Umar, you have a good point, but you don't hold a candle to this
Yeah,
moment.
No, 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 no,
yeah.
no.
Like,
100. Like they went the right direction. Like 100%. Like I love this scene. I love this interaction. And I love the fact that like she couldn't even talk about it with anybody.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's something too.
Yeah. Um. Like I know Tactics you and I disagree on this, but like I love the ending fight scene between her and Namor because like fuck that was a very like vicious fight. Like she literally like just body checked herself out of a spear, and like she was like tearing him up, something fierce as well. But yeah, I also feel the way you do, Darcy, and also and Tactics. Like the more I think about it, the like this is something I actually want to see again, as opposed to being good to see again or like go with people to see again. This is someone I actually do want to see again because I feel like there's more to that peaking. Like there was someone on TikTok who was saying that when Angela Bassett goes to see Nakia in Haiti, one of the kids that she like says hello to is her grandson, and I was like,
Yeah, we did see him. Now that I think about it, was
and
like
I
one of
was
the
like,
first.
I missed that.
Yeah, I
But
totally
like
missed that too.
obviously we missed that because like we saw it at the end, and like I'm also with you, Tactics. I'm really happy with the T'Challa, how they just like recasted him. Great move, Ryan Coogler, man, just Ryan Coogler. That's all I'm gonna say. And also the one of the things I was seeing on TikTok and I was seeing on Twitter and also I've seen online is Darcy. I think you brought this up originally a couple of weeks back when you said that the black community finally gets their second superhero film, and they bring the Latino
Hmm.
community with them. I've been seeing this consistently. People have been like, not like I think like my favorite version of it is, um, hey, we are going to cast a dark-skinned Latino and not like a lighter-skinned one to appease audiences. Hey, we're also going to make them a powerful nation. Hey, we're going to actually make them more powerful than like the nation that you're supposed to be rooting for. You know who did that? Black people. And I was just like, I mean, brown people won't even do that. So like, yeah,
You just said that.
shots fired at my own people in case
I,
people think
I
I'm
wasn't
racist.
ready. I wasn't ready. I wasn't
Yeah.
ready.
But like no, like I have to say like the fact that I'm terrified of Telecon and like they show them to be overwhelmingly more powerful than Wakanda, and I'm just like, wow. And
That
also I thought the most beautiful, like as I was saying before, and that was showing the authenticity of an underwater Mayan raised civilization. Like, come on, man.
yeah. By the
Also,
way,
one
on
final
your
point, the
oh,
soundtrack is
sorry.
fantastic. Sorry, last point.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you there. The On your point of the scariness of them, I love that they pulled inspiration from mermaids.
Mhm.
So
Yes, that was freaking terrifying.
the singing mermaid thing, and at first I thought it was because it's rumored that like people believe that in our current world that the mermaids exist and they have the song that it has a frequency that like is angelic to men and subdues men. But then I saw that like no, it wasn't just men, it was just anybody. Like everybody was screwed. I'm like, which is totally fine.
Yeah, it
And
reminded me of Jabari from Love, Death, and Robots. That episode,
oh,
the final episode.
oh
You don't remember that?
yeah. I'm just
That
trying
was
to
like
remember
your
right
favorite
now.
episode.
Oh, my brain is on this right now. Oh yeah. The woman
Yeah.
bringing the man in with all the jewelry, which ironically is also like Spanish inspired to some degree. So
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
yeah, it's an interest. Now I'm wondering how much this is actually less of a mermaid thing and more of an actual cultural reference that I just don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Um, By the way, I wanted to circle back on a point related to what we have up on screen right now. And then he takes it off the
Sorry.
screen as I say it.
I thought you were going back to like a slide, so I was like getting ready to to prep something.
It's like what we have on screen. Screen's gone. So I love the fact that they are setting up his son, and I love that as a tribute. I love that as a proper way. There's a couple reasons. One, it was stated, I can't remember if it was Ryan Coogler said it or somebody else, but recasting Chadwick right now would be doing a disservice to the cast because it wouldn't give them the ability to be in the space they needed to be in, because they would have been not able to grieve through the film, come together as a family and grieve in the way that they were able to through this film. But two, can you imagine being on a press junket and being like, yeah, he did just as good of a job as Chadwick?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's rooting for this idea. Like you can't you can't, you got to recast them. It's the right thing to do. You just imagine everyone. Doesn't matter if he did just as good of a job. Doesn't matter. You can't talk like that. Like, it just would feel like you're disrespecting, and the person doing the job is going to feel like they're disrespecting. There's just no good to that. But this move was smart because it's saying we are recasting, but we're not recasting in the way that you're thinking. And two, the other thing I like about this is that, well, when he passed on, or sorry, not when he passed on, when Chadwick's character, when T'Challa birthed, gave, or well, not he didn't birth, but he impregnated his woman to have his child.
Like, how strong is that vibranium, yo?
Heart-shaped herb, I'm pregnant.
But he likely had the heart-shaped herb in him, and therefore his son likely has the powers, or is going to have some form of mutant-based powers, because how is he affected? Because we just saw Namor, his mother was pregnant when she got was it an equivalent to the heart-shaped herb, or a
Like the
heart-shaped
water,
herb from a different?
yeah.
Yeah, right. And he inherited those powers plus more, making him into a mutant, right? Either was a mutant and he mutated the powers differently, or I think they articulated something like, because he was passed down, it created more in him. And so what does that mean for Prince T'Challa, in that he is what is that going to pass down, and it's not reliant on, these an herb. And so I just like how I feel like they're going to do something with it,
because if you think about it, because a lot of the previous, in fact, all the previous kings were Black Panthers, and they all had the heart-shaped herb, and they all had children while they were kings.
That's a fair point. Yeah, unless they literally had to take out the herb just to have children, and they're like, we just don't talk about that.
We're gonna get busy tonight. I'm gonna get rid of my superpowers.
Well, I mean, it could be also more of a planned ceremonial thing that they have to do, and it's like, honeymoon, we take it away, we do the deed, we put it back in, and we keep going. Yeah.
Well, yeah, to that point, then maybe they do have to. Maybe they can't conceive while they're subjected to the herb, but considering that Killmonger burned all of the remaining herbs, it's not like he can get rid of it, because then he would no longer have his power, so he would have to keep it. So therefore, maybe he was the first one to impregnate someone while still having the powers.
Ooh, that's interesting. But I mean, we're doing that based off of a lot of loose stuff, because we're just making up this whole having to. But I don't know. There was another thought that I had that kind of made me feel like what if Lupita Nyong'o's character, again, we're making stuff up, but maybe has something special about her that changes how it gets passed down. I don't know. I just felt like there was going to be something there related to him, because I don't know, but I feel like by the time he becomes the prince, something is going to change dramatically in Wakanda by that point. Because we've already lost the heart-shaped herb, we now had to synthetically remake it. I feel like something, by the time he gets there, it's going to be different in terms of how the Black Panther powers get passed down.
I don't think so, because they can't really make the Black Panther into a mutant, because that goes against all the comic book history regarding it. So but yeah, so I do like the fact that we're pretty much all Darcy, you gave it a 9, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So okay. So Tactix, you gave it an 8. I gave it an 8, but also an 8.7. So let's split the difference and give it an 8.5 overall for me, and Darcy with a 9. So we'll all we all love this one. I can't wait for this to happen. I do, now that Phase 4 of the MCU is over, and I can hear Tactix celebrating. Now that Phase 4 is complete, I wanted to ask my bros, and also everyone in the audience. So feel free to put it in your comments, and also also on the side over here. What is your order of MCU Phase 4 films from most favorite to the least favorite. I'll go first because, like, give my bro some time to, like, remember the movies, but also stuff like that. So for me, so Phase 4 films versus Phase 4 TV. Like, we're not doing the TV Disney Plus stuff. So my order is number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. 100%. Like,
you should have gone from worst to best. I was waiting for like the build up, and he just went right in there.
I'm going right in. You guys can do the other way.
I'm doing the other way
so
around.
Spider-Man: No Way Home at the top. Wakanda Forever as the second. Shang-Chi as the third. Eternals as the fourth. That was the fourth. Yeah. And then Black Widow as the fifth. Multiverse of Madness for the sixth. And Thor: Love and Thunder for the seventh. So that's my list. Gotcha. Darcy, let's start with you, bro. What's your list of Phase 4 films?
All right, so we're starting from the bottom, and I'm going in with the hurt on Umar. At number 7 is Eternals. It is my least favorite film. It is a boring but good film. I just find it boring. It has a good fight scene at the end, but boring for pretty much the rest of the film for me. At 6 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
I cannot believe you. Oh, fine.
It's not boring.
It's
not good, but
I'm listening.
At number 5, Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, that one's legit. Now we're starting to like agree. Okay. Yeah. At number 4, Black Widow.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. At number 3, Shang-Chi. Now, my question to you, Umar, is where do you think Wakanda Forever and No Way Home land in the last 2 spots?
For me, I think you did Wakanda Forever and then No Way Home.
Tactix, where do you think I have Wakanda Forever and No Way Home?
I think you're going to put Wakanda Forever first.
Okay. Y'all motherfuckers know me well. Yeah, no, for me, No Way Home at number 2 and Wakanda Forever number 1. No Way Home is an amazing film, and I feel like it has great emotional moments. It is a better spectacle of a superhero film, and Wakanda Forever for me is a better film in that it's going to last with me emotionally a lot longer. And that's why it wins out. Like, No Way Home's amazing, but I don't remember myself saying these motherfuckers deserve Oscars.
That's fair.
And that's why Wakanda. I mean, like, Ryan Coogler can get a fucking Oscar. Angela Bassett can get it. Letitia Wright can get it. Like the cinematographers can get it. Namor can get it. The sound, Ludwig on sound here is killing it. By the way, if y'all don't know, the guy who does the sound for this and Black Panther is also the guy who does The Mandalorian, which is why they're also damn unique. The guy who did the sound for this literally went into Mexico to find people of Mayan origin who rapped to do a Mayan rap song, and he had to find a remote small place where people actually did this. And now he's
white.
Oh yeah, he's a white hippie kind of dude, but he's like try all different kind of instruments. And I love how like they clearly have the budget and were willing to invest in culture in creation of this film. That they're like, he flew around the world to build the soundtrack for this.
He did Creed and Creed 2 also, and Tenet. Oh, and Venom. and also Mandalorian, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Mandalorian, New Girl, Community, Book of Boba Fett. Holy Jesus!
Yeah, well, I mean, he does music. You don't see him, so it's easier to book him. Like,
I hear you. I'm just like,
yeah,
yo, good for you, sweetie.
because he's like Hans Zimmer is amazing for Hans Zimmer's sound. This guy is amazing for we want to go into culture and we want to pull something out and also mix it with something else, right? The superhero with the culture, this thing with this other thing. And this is a man who's like, he knows too many instruments and just wants to know every instrument there ever was and work with any random person to learn about every kind of music there ever was, because he's just that kind of nerd, right? And that love with it. So yeah, fantastic job on the soundtrack as well.
All right, T, what's your list?
All right. Coming in at number 6, Eternals.
7.
No. 6.
It's so bad.
I only got 6, bro.
It didn't make the list.
Only got 6, bro. So we're coming in hot.
So we
right,
know what 7 is. We know what 7 is.
Coming in at number 6, we got Eternals. Coming in at number 5, we've got Black Widow. Coming in at number 4, yeah. Coming in at number 4, we've got Multiverse of Madness. Coming in at number 3, we got Shang-Chi. Coming in at number 2, we got Wakanda Forever. And coming in at number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home. That is my list.
First off, your motherfuckers are crazy. Wakanda Forever number 1. Y'all motherfuckers.
No, so Darcy, you make a good point when you said No Way Home versus Wakanda Forever. You're not gonna get any Oscar nominations for Spider-Man No Way Home. But I'm basing off the merit of the spectacle alone in terms of like it brought back childhood memories in terms of like the original Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. Like that whole spectacle was just it just did it for me. I had an amazing time with it. And so that's why I put it as number 1.
I would say that like that for me as well, but also I didn't have as many cinematic issues as I did with Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Now, I'm going to throw one thing out here just so you know this. Umar, when you originally messaged the group and you said, rank them, I actually put No Way Home down as first. And as the week has progressed, I've been really like just being more emotionally impacted by Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that it's like when you ask me 10 years from now which one I want to watch more, I think it's going to be Wakanda Forever. And that's what like made me shift it. Even though if we were to rate it on like superhero spectacle, then I think No Way Home clearly wins that one. And it's like, but for me, it was just like on the emotional. And also on another random side note, I almost did Multiverse of Madness and Black Widow the same flip as Tactix. We basically almost had the exact same thing, other than Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals. I'm literally just be like comedy over boring. That's literally my decision. There is good elements in Eternals. It's just boring.
It had some really good fight scenes, like especially near the end.
Yeah,
I'll give it that. But
hold on, T. You liked
no. I liked it, but remember, you anticipated this. It was very up and down for me. Like when I first started watching, I'm like, nah, this ain't the movie. This ain't it, yo. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not bad. And then I was like, wait, no, it's lost me again. And then near the end, I was like, okay, it's cool. But it's just the storyline just like how like there are certain Marvel movies that like leave you wanting more. Like it's like I want to know more about this team. I'm fully invested. I want to see like more movies of these characters. I didn't get that with Eternals the way I wanted to with like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I still remember because like I remember I convinced you to like get your tickets, and then I sat down. I'm like, I hope this movie's good, and I started watching. I'm like, I'm enjoying it. Oh, Tactix gonna kill me.
But by the way, the one thing that I'm still like with Eternals, like Tactix is saying, is like, yeah, you don't get the sense you want to know more about the characters, but we all want to know when the fuck is the MCU going to address the fact that there's a giant head sticking out of the planet?
So okay, I want to give a call out to my boy Adam Cowling, because like his only complaint for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, literally his only complaint about the film is, so you're telling me we have an underwater civilization that wants to wage war with the surface dwellers, and has nothing to do with the guy whose head and hand is coming right out of their kingdom.
Like literally, like is this like is the Eternals in a different universe of the multiverse, and we just didn't actually clarify that in the entire film? Is it in the future, and everything we're watching right now is leading up to it? Like, because otherwise, it's literally like it's this is like when we ask the question like, well, Black Adam had this whole fight and Superman didn't show up until the end, until called in. It's like there is a head the size of a country sticking out of the side of the planet, and people are like have other things to do in the superhero realm.
I can understand that, like, this world who's like half the universe got blipped out of existence. It may not be like a big thing for them.
It's a
but
big
like it
fucking
should
thing.
be a thing. Like it's not going nowhere, and it's like I think it would cause a lot of tsunamis and shit. Like, so we just like it's not that run of the mill that we just go forget about it.
Like the only person I can excuse for not dealing with this right away is Captain Marvel, because she's clearly somewhere else, right? and the second she comes back and sees a head stick outside the planet, you know how she already had attitude with people when they're like, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, you're not, this Earth isn't the only place that I have to deal with, right? And she couldn't come back and be like, so what have y'all been doing? Like what? Like I'm sorry, I'm still mad about this because Marvel's saying nothing about it, and it's not showing up in anything else, and it's so not explained, and it is like the opposite of a plot hole. It is a plot mountain. Like they need to address it
in Phase 5.
Doesn't make any sense. I digress.
All right, well, I want to pass it back to you, T. We're all done with the agenda.
Alrighty. Well, that will do it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Please like and subscribe, and live long and prosper, y'all.
Damn.